Hi guys, Exiled Eddie here, coming to you from the Philippines on my alternate channel right now. We got a beautiful day. It's the 23rd Wednesday of September 2021. All the boys are working. A lot of new starts of houses going up, a lot of new holes getting dug. It's really turning into something. But wanted to talk about what happened with my channel. Sorry it went down. I did review the video. It was my opinion. Nowhere on the video did I give medical advice. Nowhere. That's why they said they took it down, because it was medical advice. I didn't give any. Not one time. And we watched it through a couple of times. There was no medical advice. I just made comments on what I thought of what they're doing. You know, and I even said on there, you know, if you want it, get it. Plain and simple. So, but the fella turned me in. The fella got on there. He was leaving comments. Always had some kind of a snide comment, and I let him go. And then he put one on there and said he was going to turn me in. And I went, you know, to each his own was kind of like my answer. And then he came back and said, people like you should be killed. That's what he said. So I just deleted him, and sure enough, it was the next morning my deal was shut down. So this is what they want, guys. They want people at each other's throats. They don't want us banding together. My goodness, if we did that, it'd be unbelievable. That we'd be unstoppable. But there's divide and conquer thing that they're doing here. Now, I'm just some guy here in the Philippines. They say I only got 3,100 and some subscribers, but we all know it's way more than that. People are getting kicked off the channel on a regular basis. They're shadow banning me. They don't want anybody to see this stuff. But you know, they show numbers on there. Their own numbers have stupid stuff. And at one time we checked all the additions and all the subtractions that it said on their own numbers, and it was over. We had over 8,000. So, you know, this is just all a bunch of poop. I got a feeling what they're going to do is they're going to start going back on videos, and they're going to find something they don't like, and boom, just totally destroy the entire channel. I'm thinking that's what's going on. So, but we'll be getting out of there completely. I know we don't, you know, no other people, morning Agney, no other people get the numbers like you do on YouTube for people. I've seen a lot of people move to other platforms. There's just too many. There's too many platforms to go to, so everything's diluted. And but these main things, these guys that are running this, they are anti-American. When they put little flags up on because you're doing the national anthem or anything like that. I watched a thing on Facebook the other morning. It was a little girl at a ball game, and boy, she was really belting it out. She was really singing. I had clicked on that, and in front of it was a false thing from the fact checkers, and then when I'm like, oh, what's this? Well, anytime I see that, I got to look at it because it's usually something good. So I clicked on it, and it was just a little girl singing the national anthem. They're anti-American, guys, and a lot of these people in the government, they're against you. You know, I've always known since I was very young that, you know, government's a necessary evil, I guess. They're not our friends. Never were, never will be. It's just the way it is. They got their own interests that they care about. Look how many people in politics in the U.S. are multi-millionaires. Just loaded. You know, there was a thing on there I saw some fella put out. They took it down, though. But he said of all the people in the U.S., the percentage that was millionaires was less than 1%. But the people in Congress, it was 78% or something like that are millionaires once they get in. Come on, guys, you gotta start waking up and smelling the coffee with these people. Just really crazy. But I did see. I'm still able to answer comments from the old channel. Can't put anything up, but they didn't stop comments or likes or anything like that. So I keep checking there. I have to switch it over to this account and back and forth. I figured out how to do that quickly. But just really crazy. Somebody did mention on the one video I had up there about safety. I did forget about the fire extinguishers. We have a good one. I've been noticing they sell this new fireball, and they sell little racks for it. They show these fireballs. It's just a round plastic ball about this big, and you can throw it in a big dumpster fire, and when the paper burns off, it explodes, or the plastic, it explodes, puts the fire out. And they have these little racks. You could put it up above a panel. I'd like to have one up above my couch, to be honest with you. It'd be nice to have one above the stove. It'd be messy, but it would get the fire out. I imagine your insurance company would really lower your rates with that one. It seems to me better than water damage, because I've seen places where the sprinklers went off. Serious water damage. You know, just horrible what happens. But with this exploding ball, that to me looks like a pretty damn good idea. They're selling them now on Facebook, and I think I'm going to buy a couple of them. Put one in my hallway, maybe put one up above the couch. Here in the Philippines, my wife was this big one for unplugging everything. And I'm like, oh, come on, you know, come on. And I didn't follow her lead. I was new here, and I'm, you know, follow your sweetie's lead, guys. And she kept unplugging it, and I'm like, no, don't do that. He's pissing me off because I got to plug them in. I wanted to put plugs up high so I didn't have to reach down to plug them in. Well, we had a fan. It was just a little blue and white fan. Some, you know, Chinese brand. No UL listing on them or anything, but it was a cheap fan we bought. Got it at the 169 store, or 168, whatever they call it. And I left it plugged in when we left. Didn't have it on. Didn't have the thing on, but luckily it was sitting in the middle of the floor, and it didn't throw flames high enough to light the ceiling on fire. But when we came back, that thing was completely melted. It was melted into a big black pile of goo right on the floor. So, okay, now I got to where I'm going to unplug stuff. A lot of things I had to help me with that. I have them on these surge protecting power strips, and then I can just click the button off. And a lot of them are coming now with charger things on them. We got a lot of stuff we need charged. I got a real cool little keyboard I can hold in my hands for writing on the TV, because it's like a computer. You know, we've got power banks. We got all kinds of stuff. Another thing with some of these power banks, watch them. I had an old power bank that we got, and it was it had like a name brand on it. It's a black one, and I plugged it in to charge it, and it's just got those little 185/50, I think they're called, batteries, and it had a whole bank of those in there. But it got so hot, it didn't start on fire, but this thing, I just didn't pay attention to it, and I looked over and I seen the case was like split, and you could see the little green batteries inside. What the heck is that? Went over there, you couldn't touch it. The plastic was actually super soft. I unplugged the dang thing. It got so dang hot. That thing, if it would have stayed on there, it might have started a fire. So, you know, be careful with this kind of stuff. Follow your sweetie's lead. When they unplug stuff, don't get mad about it. I actually was like, don't unplug that, because I'm used to stuff from America. You know, but let them unplug it. And it protects stuff anyway from any kind of lightning or anything. The other thing I wanted to talk about was the other night, before I got shut off. I was up in bed, and about 2 o'clock it started raining, a super hard rain. And it was so loud up there, I didn't sleep. I wound up rolling out, you know, started at 2, woke me up, didn't get any sleep. Really put the back in a twist. You know, I need the rest. I got to have the rest, even though I only sleep 4 to 5 hours. I still need that, and I didn't get it. So make sure if you're building a house, if that's going to be something bothers you, insulate. Our first house had like a corrugated roof, and it wasn't loud. We didn't really have insulation up in the attic. We just had a ceiling like we do here, and it was not loud. You know, it deflects all that, so it's the rain's hitting, and it wasn't loud. Plus, it was a lot thicker, I think, than this metal. This just reverberates in the house. You've seen on some of the old rickshaw videos that it was just super loud up there. You can't. It's like a jet engine. You know, it's just super loud when it rains here. And you're going to get Forrest Gump rain here, guys. You're going to get a lot of it. But we have another just beautiful day. Last night, the kids and I were doing a whole bunch of nighttime motorcycle rides with the with the light on and everything. I was teaching them how to use the blinkers. I was letting them operate, sitting in front of me, operating the blinkers, operating the high beam, and they picked up on it real quick. So whenever I go for rides around here, they're doing the blinkers and stuff. And Maddie and Dorothy both picked up on it real quick. Moo a little slower, but they know how to turn it off. It's not like a Harley. Harleys turn themselves off, but every other bike, I don't know why they don't do that, or even put a timer on some blinkers. You know what I mean? One thing about this YTX 125 I don't like, the blinkers work on the front, but they're not running lights, which to me is ridiculous. That should be running lights, but it's not. There's some stuff on the bike. One thing too about it, even when I'm riding it by myself, it's set up to be a tricycle bike, period, because I can ride anybody. I remember riding across on my Honda 750. I had some floorboards on that, and I wound up putting just a straight highway peg, and I would put my feet on them highway pegs and lean back on my big Navy sea bag and go down the highway. I had a throttle lock. It wasn't any kind of fancy speed control or anything. It just was a lock. I'd set it, and then I could lock it, and then you just hit the thing to release it. And I could lean back on that saddlebag and put my hands on my chest and ride for, when I wanted to change lanes, just lean and just go. Kids used to always, like this in there, and it was funny. I even got myself a little horn for them, a little air horn, and when they'd go like this to beep the horn, I'd because I didn't want to reach up and touch the handlebar. The horn on the bike is good. The headlight is fantastic. I like a little bit of the yellow light. I don't like the super white light where people are high beaming me all the time. I got it adjusted now. It's a really good headlight on the bike for what the bike is. It's not like I'm going to be doing 100 miles an hour on it. But it doesn't want to balance good. To take your hands off the handlebars, it's super squirrely. It's hard to do. I'm telling you, if anybody can do it on this particular model of bike, you let me know, because maybe could be me. I don't know. But we do like to cruise it around. Last night we were, oh my goodness, we were still riding around at 10 o'clock morning. And the kids and I had just had a blast. We saw a lot of frogs out. Even though it was cool, there were a lot of bats, which I don't ever want to harm any of them. I used to have a pet bat. I had a little brown, I looked him up. He was a brown fruit bat. And one of the funniest things that happened, I had a Christmas tree in a pot, kind of like I have here, but it looked like a real Christmas tree. Beautiful, beautiful tree. And it was 7 or 8 feet high. Well, that's where he hung out. He would fly around at night and eat bugs in the house. He'd always be by the windows because that's where they'd be. And I would put fruit out, grapes and stuff, and you'd see him chewing on those. He'd eat those, and raisins. I mean, he sucked up a lot of stuff. I'd put it over on the coffee table by his plant. But and I had this, was when I was first signal after I was put out by my wife, and he never came out in the daytime. You'd always find him in that tree. He wouldn't hang upside down like you see bats do. He'd just sort of sit in the mud, and he looked like he was dead half the time. I'd always pick him up to see if he was okay, because he just seemed dead. Well, my mother and my aunt and my sister Jo came over to visit, and I did. I had my daughter used to water my plants for me when she'd come over. I had 103 separate pots of plants in a little 2-story, 2-bedroom. I had the place fixed up. It was nice. And this thing came out of that pot in the middle of the day and made a circle around the place, and I'm like, well, and he landed right in my right in my aunt's hair. Why he did that, I don't know. She just used to get, I don't know, and she had her hair all fixed too. She had the perm done. She used to go get a perm every week. She had the most beautiful white hair, like notebook paper. And that son of a gun got in her hair. We were like, what the? He never comes out. It was so weird. But I love the bats around here. I saw somebody put a thing on Facebook about how much weight the bats eat and how many mosquitoes they eat and all the bugs, and they do. Here, you see them flying around. I've never had a problem with them. I don't bother them all. I used to know a guy that hated them, and he'd go around and try and kill them and stuff, and I'm like, oh, they're eating bugs, leave them alone. And the frogs here, we saw a frog. He was a pretty big one. He was a pretty big damn frog, and he was over in the shade over there. And there's these little tiny mice. They're only this big, and their tail ain't super long or anything, real thin tail. And we're looking at this frog, and he looked kind of funny. He's just sitting there, and we went over, and you could see the feet of a mouse hanging out of his mouth. I thought that was cool. So a lot of these little critters around here, I don't like to bug them. We got these, I call them Gila monsters. I forget what my wife calls them. Monitor, I think she says. We got a lot of pretty big lizards that are up to 3 feet long. Love them. Glad they're around. One thing we got to watch is, like at nighttime, I try to get everybody. Last night, I closed the screen door and I closed all the windows. It's not that hot. When the sun goes down, it's not hot here. And my wife always goes out and she'll latch the screen door open, and we had the lights on because we were looking at some schoolwork for my daughter, just to go over it again, because she forgets. So you want to reinforce what she learned in the morning. Just by going over it, I'll circle the words that she didn't know, and we were learning about exclamation point and different words, and she's learned how to look up in the dictionary. I make her find a word in the dictionary if she doesn't know what it is. And she's got it. Well, my wife lashed the screen door open, and within 15 minutes we had 1,000 bugs in the house. They come for that white light. So I have on the outside the real yellowy light as much as I can get, and they don't seem to bother it. But you got to close your windows up at night. I want screens. I want to get this place fixed up. We're slowly doing things. I do want to get a laptop so I can get these other channels going. It seems to say on Odyssey and BitChute and Rumble, these other ones. If I get something fast, it'll do it. I'll put it on all of them. I'll start channels on every single one of them. But my problem is it says I can't put anything up because there's not enough memory, and because I'm just doing everything on a phone, guys. And even when I went in there and got rid of a bunch of stuff, I got rid of a whole bunch of apps that I don't use. Some of them they don't let you get rid of. I had a Meralco app on there so I could pay my electric bill right online. It won't let you get rid of it now. It's on the phone, it won't go. And it takes up some space. I had other apps, so I just go through. If I don't use them, it pops up on the phone. It says you haven't used this for a while. Do you want to put it in this, storage area? And no, just get rid of it. I don't use it. There's some of them I keep. Like I do keep the Western Union, and I keep all that kind of stuff. And when I get the laptop, it's going to be just for what I'm doing here. I'll still do my bills. The security on the phone is great. I have a really good security package. It doesn't get in. It bumps everything. It bumps a lot of stuff. I always have to look for spam. I gotta look at everything, even stuff from the bank. Anything that comes in goes into the security folder that I gotta put in another code. And usually I just delete it all. I look at it and get rid of it. I don't open a lot of stuff. It tells you, if you do go to hit the open button, it'll come on there saying, this is known to cause problems, don't open, blah, blah, blah. So I listen to that. I'm getting older and wiser, I guess. But we did have a blast riding around last night. These boys are hand digging. There's so many new places going up. Look at these boys. They're smoking. It'll be nice to see what it's like when they put them right next to us, when they do that. But the houses are seeming to move. They're building a new worker shack over here. It looks like it's much heavier. It's made out of like the scaffolding stuff, and I think that's going to be okay for the boys. I think my wife's brother's going to be staying in this one over here. I'll show you. That's my fault. I drank a little bit of milk. We made some hamburgers and I put a little cheese on it, and then every time I do that I get that mucus, which is a real bummer. I know better, but I like cheese, I always did. But these guys are really doing a heck of a job. They work their butts off. I'm telling you what, I remember when I was in the States. Hey, good morning. You're on YouTube. But I actually wouldn't hire Filipinos because they wouldn't show up. They were always late, always had an excuse. I had one guy, he was a great electrician. I let him go. He was a Filipino guy. I let him go, and he kind of ruined it for all the rest, and the previous ones ruined it. You know, they come up with all these stories, though. They won't call. You know, they're timid. They won't call. They just don't show up. And when you're working a job, you need your guys there. You need them there so that, you know, so you can get your work done, finish your red line. And when they don't show, you know, you got to go call somebody else. And that takes up my time. So, but here, these guys here are Johnny on the spot. They really work their butts off here. It's unbelievable. They just don't quit. And I admire it. I'm telling you, these guys are some ball-busting, hard-working dudes. There's no doubt about it. All of them are smiling. They're happy in their work. And, you know, we love them. You know, my wife always has some coffee for them or a snack or something like that. And we've had some of them over at the house. She wants to, they sit outside in the chairs and watch movies through the window. We've sang karaoke with them a bunch of times, and they're just good people. And now there's a lot more of them. We're meeting them, and these guys are just workers. I mean, it's unbelievable. They just go about their business and get things done. You know, now I am starting to understand on the builds here how they get stopped. You know, and here, no work, no pay. If it's pouring down or there's a big storm, And when it pours here, when we had that really big rain, you see them up early, before normal working time, with buckets bucketing all the water out of these holes. It's amazing. Morning. But here's one right here. That one's there, really working on that. Here's this one. They're really moving on. They're getting cabinets in. We walked through one down at the other end. It's really nice. It's like a 4-bedroom job. And they had their cabinets stuck in like a little cubby, so it still left a room and had a nice sized master bedroom. Pretty expensive, but nice. It had a dirty kitchen, and I just thought it was, you know, they do build some nice houses. I love the way they do the foundations and the block work. And like I say, you know, these guys are just really something. They're just a really good crew of guys. We're meeting more of them every day. And even these guys who cut the grass, they don't mess around. They're out there. They basically don't stop. They're Energizer bunnies. There's no doubt about it. So, but I'm home again. I'm going to go ahead and let you go. And I'm going to mind my P's and Q's if they allow my channel back up over there. And hopefully we get a computer. We got to do a generator. I hope I get a computer quick, because I want to start to get to these other ones, Odyssey and BitChute and Rumble. And I was thinking, if I get Kenneth Luttrell's helping me, and then there's another fella, I can't think of his name right now, or helping me with computer stuff. And I would like to, morning, sweetheart. I'd like to, being that it's fast, you know, he said this speeds are going to be, you know, they recommended this one, and then I found one I liked. It's a little bit pricey, but he said it's really going to upload fast. It had a speed thing on one of the videos for the computer I was looking at, where they were uploading. It was just a 10-minute video, and they said on there what it was. It was actually a 4K video that they were uploading, and it said it took 12 minutes with this i3 certain computer with the spinning hard drive, and then they took their computer with this SSD and they uploaded the video in 1:38. So that's the kind of performance I'm looking at, you know, that I want. So, and like I say, I'm not going to use it for anything else. It's going to have my my email for the rickshaw. It'll have that. If I want to look at anything else, I can do stuff now on the phone and put it over to the TV so I can see it. It's hard to see stuff on the TV, or I mean on the phone. It's so small, but that's what I'm looking forward to doing. And I want to get it. I want to get the channel going. If they shut this one down, I'll start another one. I went through and we saved. You know, we have all the videos saved, and then I could go ahead and re-upload them to some other platform, because these Nazis are just, you know, they got my number now, so they don't want you speaking your mind. It's not that I'm saying anything to do wrong. It's they don't want my opinion out there. They want me shut down because it doesn't follow their narrative, and that, guys, is communism. This is, oh my, I forget. Boy, look how I lost a word. What did they do to Napoleon? I forget now. But I'm the guy who's not here on my regular channel. But here I am, guys. This is Rickshaw Out.